Also, the official kick time this week will be 3:39, as you know, on CBS. And a reminder, no live streaming, please.
Well, I'd like to open with a congratulations to Carla Williams. What a great opportunity she's been presented with, and tremendous job she's done for Georgia athletics. I've known Carla for a long time, and happy for her and her family for the opportunity they're getting. Getting ready for Florida. You know, we prepared a little bit Thursday. Worked some on Florida Thursday, and about 50% of the practice on Florida, 50% just on us getting better, like we did most of the week last week. It's an exciting game. I think when you talk about a neutral site game in Jacksonville, I think all the players really enjoy that atmosphere, the 50-50 stands, and great opportunity to go play a good football team. So we'll continue getting ready today.
Kirby, last year you guys struggled to run the ball against them. I mean, they're always good up front. What gives you the confidence, and what happened last year? What gives you the confidence that this can be a different story running the ball now?
I think they've got a tremendous front this year. You know, last year they had probably more depth, more guys up there. Still got a really good, quick, athletic front. They get off the ball really well. I mean, I've seen a lot of their defense because we've had games that we played crossover teams. And, certainly explosive, quick. It'll be a challenge. I mean, it's hard to run the ball in the SEC. I keep telling y'all, it's really hard. It's something you got to be committed to. You got to do it a lot. You got to try to wear people down. But they get off the ball. They do a really good job. They did last year as well. So we'll fight a tough sled, I'm sure.
Kirby, a true freshman quarterback starting in Jacksonville, is that something that is a issue at all, given that Jake's already played at Notre Dame, at Tennessee, he's had these big moments?
You know, I think anytime you got a true freshman starting, it's challenging. I think this kid's grown. He's gotten better each week. Hope that continues through the bye week. I mean, but you referenced Jacksonville. I think what makes it challenging is Florida defense. It happens to be in Jacksonville, so it's not just the fact we're playing in Jacksonville, it's that we're playing against a caliber of defense that has been really, I mean, in the last 10 years, they've been one of the best defenses in the country. So you look at what they've done, the players they've had, style of defense they play, they're attacking, they're aggressive. I think Coach Randy Shannon does a great job with them. So it's always a challenge.
Kirby, I wanted to ask about the fan support this year. I know you've been around some good fan bases and had some good years, but has there been something different, something special about turnout, road games, even the home environments this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think you start with the first opening game for us against App. They had an incredible atmosphere, packed house. I mean, and then you go to the Notre Dame game, and each of the road games, they've been really incredible as far as the atmosphere they've created for the players. I think the energy of our fan base has been great. A lot of that enthusiasm comes from playing good. I mean, you play good, you create a good atmosphere. I think the night games have helped with that. But whatever the magic potion's been, it's been good for our players, and we certainly hope that it continues in Jacksonville.
Kirby, you were a part of the series in the 1990s when it wasn't going very well for Georgia. We obviously pay close attention to these trends, how many wins and all that. Does that manifest itself at all on the field of play? Players feeling pressure that we haven't won in X amount of years. Do you even address it?
Yeah, I think trends are pretty commonplace. I mean, it has a lot to do with who the quarterback is, who the defense is, who the players are. And at the end of the day, it boils down to players and guys making plays and not turning the ball over, and how you respond to a little adversity, because in this game it's traditionally been a seesaw type game. So I mean, I don't get too much into the who won last year, who won the year before that. It's a whole lot more about what we're going to do this year, because that's really all we can control. We can control how we play this year and worry about the things that matter, and I don't think any of that matters.
Kirby, you've dealt already this year with several situations where you were large favorite. Just from dealing with the team and this being Florida this week, how different is it now that you're in that situation again?
I just don't think that you worry about that. I mean, it ultimately comes down to how we play. And the number one thing we're concerned with is what's going to allow us to play our best football game, what's going to allow us to be more sound in execution, what's going to allow us to protect the ball and attack the ball better defensively and offensively. And it's not about what the favorite is, what the line is. I mean, it's going to boil down to how we play. And we focused, that is the one thing that we can control, is how we play. And that's all we can worry about.
Coach, despite having to replace 3 starters in the offseason, I mean, I guess you could say that there's a noticeable improvement on the offensive line. What do you think has led to that, and what do you think there was that kind of buy-in moment amongst the unit?
Yeah, I don't know if I could pinpoint one moment that there was a total buy-in. I think the group as a whole, it's a little different group. I mean, we've got guys that kind of done it by committee for the most part. I mean, we've rolled some guys in there. We've got good backs. We had good backs last year. I think the fact that we've been a little more open in our personnel groupings has helped. I don't know what one overriding factor. I think the receivers have played better and blocked better, and that's allowed us to spring some more runs and do some more things. A few more RPOs mixed in there have helped, but there's a lot of things that kind of cumulative. The second year in the same offense, a lot of things affect that. I don't think it's one thing that we can pinpoint, but I do think the offensive line has matured and it's playing a little better.
Kirby, generic question. How important is it to have, I guess, a strength coach in this league who understands what it takes to win in this league, and what specifically has Scott done these 2 years?
Well, he's built confidence in our players. I think they recognize that they're stronger than they've ever been. They see that in their games. They see that in their body weight. As far as his experience in this league, he really didn't have much experience in this league, but I do think that part is somewhat overrated, because I think if you're a good strength coach, you're a good strength coach. I don't think it has to be your understanding of this league. I mean, this league is very unique in its size, speed, toughness across the offensive and defensive lines. But I think he understands that. He's coached good players before. He's been in good places before. And he and his staff do a great job motivating our players, but also convincing them that they are stronger, they are more physical by the way they work in the weight room.
Kirby, even though Felipe Franks is a young quarterback, maybe not hasn't put up great stats, but how aware does your secondary need to be of his ability to hit the deep ball, given he's done that in quite a few games?
Yeah, they've got tremendous wideouts. They've got probably the best wideout group we've faced, combined with the fact that the quarterback has one of the strongest arms I've ever seen. I knew Felipe well in high school and recruited him, and know the arm talent that he has. So when they've got tape, they'll see the Missouri game. I mean, we know what we're in for, and we got to do a good job covering those guys. And the toughest part is they're a lot more physical up front and bigger than say Missouri was. So it's going to be a task. We've got to do a tremendous job defensively against a good quarterback and a group of wideouts that are very talented.
Kirby over here. What is your assessment of the strength of the SEC this year, with some speculation about whether it could be worthy of getting 2 teams into the playoff, and then other, maybe the bottom half of the league is not as the depth of the league is not as strong as it has been. Is this league, how does it compare to other years you've seen, and would the SEC be worthy of 2 teams if that came down to it?
Yeah, I have no idea. I'll be honest with you. I don't get to watch enough games. I'm not a good judge of how talented the SEC is. I mean, I've spent the last 7 days watching Florida and, getting ready for future opponents in the SEC. I'm going to leave that to you guys. I'm focused on getting ready for Florida.
Kirby, when you look at this game, I mean, obviously they're all important, but you growing up in South Georgia, playing in this game as a player, it being the rivalry that does it carry a little something special to you, as a coach, and being able to look back and reflect on your time there as a player? I mean, in this game as a player too.
I mean, every game's special to me as a coach. I'll be honest with you. I don't think there's any one that's more special than another. I think it's special to these kids. I mean, we recruit a lot against Florida, but we recruit a lot against all the SEC teams. we've got several teams on our roster from Florida. It's the second most state represented for our team. So, I mean, I think that makes it important. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we're trying to go 1-0 this week, and Florida's the next opponent, and that's the most important thing.
Kirby, I know you had a late night after the Notre Dame game, but since league play started, some of your road trips have been, I mean, you've gotten back at a good time when you consider the Vandy start, Tennessee start, and stuff like that. Some coaches on the teleconference last week were complaining about just road games at night. I know Mullen had to come over here and then to Auburn, and Will went to Texas A&M and had to come back. What is the biggest challenge about doing that? I know you had to do it last year with Missouri and then try to turn around for Ole Miss. Is it more the concern for the players being tired, or just you get behind in your prep work?
Both. I mean, there's rest and recovery for the players. It's really challenging for coaches, but I think that's part of the job, because you might be back up after getting in at 3, 4 in the morning, and you got to go back in and start work on the next opponent, turn it over quickly. But the players, it affects more than anything. I think their sleep habits get screwed up because they sleep in on Sunday morning, and the next thing you know, Monday morning they've got 7 a.m. study hall, or they've got a class at 8 a.m. And it's just tough on them to get a routine going. So that part's challenging for the players. But I think each and every one of us in the SEC will admit that the reason for it is the fact that we're playing on ESPN and they're making more money for it.
Kirby, I just wonder, playing in Jacksonville, a neutral site, it certainly makes this an unusual game. You've been on both sides of that, played at another program. Do you have any feelings about advantage, disadvantage, as these two guys aren't playing on each other's home turf? And certainly CBS gets a lot of national notoriety because of it being played. What's your opinion on that?
I think it is what it is. I don't think there's the only biggest advantage to me is the recruiting aspect. I've always said that you lose a great opportunity once every other year, and you figure in your state you're going to have 100 top players. Well, every 4 years they're in high school, there's 2 opportunities to bring them to a big game, to an environment that would be second to none. You lose that opportunity. You don't get that opportunity. They also lose that opportunity. So to both of us, if anything, that's the impact. I don't think it's an impact on the outcome of the game. I don't think it's an impact on anything other than the fact you lose an opportunity at a good chance to recruit prospects and have them on your campus.
The injury updates on the D lineman. How much was Trenton able to do last week? And I guess Daquan and David Marshall, did they get back? And what's the outlook for this week?
Yeah, Trenton was able to practice, do mostly everything, so we think he'll be fine. He's clear today and go practice. Daquan's still battling back, and then David Marshall's cleared and ready to go.
Kirby, when you look at your defensive backs, and we talk about the Missouri game and those big plays that were made. When you went back and looked at the film, were those the result of like some miscommunication issues, technique issues, and kind of what have you guys been able to do to address cleaning up and preventing those type of plays going forward?
Well, I think the biggest thing is play with better technique, understand where your help is, try not to put them in those situations. A lot of things combined, throw more deep balls, let us play more deep balls, cover guys, cover fast people in practice. So you try to address them by what you call, how you play what you call, and then the technique you use when you call it. And the only way to get better at stuff like that is really to work on it. So we tried to attack some of that, and we'll continue to.
2 more questions?
Coach, you talked about, especially in the Missouri game, not disrupting the quarterback and from the pass rush. Having so many guys back on the deep line, do you think that will improve your guys' ability to affect the quarterback?
I think the depth keeps a little fresher, but I mean, it's not a matter of getting back some elite great rusher. That's not the case. I think it's a matter of how many guys they keep in and protecting with. They keep 7 guys in and protect. It's tough to get rushed with 4 guys. They got 7. So I mean, you got to be able to hold up in coverage when people max protect. And we got to do a better job of affecting the quarterback when they don't max protect. And hopefully having more depth will allow us to do that.
Kirby, you started talking about Carla being in this conference. What was it like the last 2 years or so working with her, on a daily, weekly basis, interactions?
It's great. I think Carla's got a great relationship with the student athletes. She cares, and they know she cares about them personally. She's done a tremendous job at the University of Georgia in the way that she represents Georgia. She represents student athletes and did a tremendous job with the academic side of things. It was a great asset for me, especially when I first got here, from bouncing ideas off of and finding out how things work. She did a tremendous job. Thanks.